Okay, so we're diving into some really interesting stuff today. It's all about this concept of self-belief, right?
Yeah.
So we've got this source here. Success starts with self-belief, building confidence from within. And the goal, I guess, is to really kind of unpack why it matters so much.
Right.
And more importantly, how can you actually build it? How can you actually make this happen in your own life? You know?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
One of the things that the source says right off the bat that really jumped out at me was this idea that success doesn't start with things like, talent or luck or being in the right place at the right time.
Yeah.
It really emphasizes this idea that it all comes from inside, from this belief in your own ability.
Yeah.
And that's kind of a different way to think about it, isn't it?
It is. And actually, one thing the source was really careful to point out was that it's not like arrogance or pretending to be perfect.
Right.
It's not about that at all. It describes it more as this quiet trust in yourself, to handle whatever comes your way and figure things out.
Oh, definitely. Yeah. It's not about, bragging or showing off. It's about this internal kind of this deep down feeling that you've got what it takes.
Yeah. Like this inner resource, not like this performance for other people. It's interesting, right?
Right.
So it makes you think, how much do you think your own belief in yourself actually affects what you even try to do in the first place?
That's a great question.
And what you actually achieve in the end?
Yeah. And the source really goes into how this self-belief thing, it impacts so many different parts of your life. It's not just about work or school or whatever. It affects, your relationships, how you take care of yourself even.
Oh, yeah.
It's pretty amazing.
So give me some examples of that. How does that play out in real life?
Well, for one thing, the source talks about risk-taking.
Yeah,
People who have that strong belief in themselves, they're more likely to try new things, go for those opportunities, even just speak their mind,
Yeah, that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
If you think you can handle whatever happens, you're not so afraid to step outside your comfort zone.
Exactly. And the source also talks about how self-belief is a key ingredient in resilience,
Oh, yeah, resilience.
Yeah.
That's huge.
Yeah, when you face those inevitable setbacks, the people who believe in themselves, they're the ones who bounce back faster.
Right. They don't take it so personally.
Exactly. They see it as a learning experience, data to help them adjust course.
So it's not oh, I'm a failure. It's more okay, well, that didn't work. So what can I learn from it?
Exactly.
But what about the flip side?
Mm.
So what happens when you don't have that self-belief? What does that look like?
Well, the source paints a pretty clear picture of that. It talks about hesitation, second-guessing yourself.
Oh, yeah, procrastination too?
Yes, procrastination. It can be really tough to get anything done when you're constantly doubting yourself.
It's like you're putting up your own roadblocks.
Exactly. And the source even connects this lack of self-belief to decision-making. Yeah, it says when you trust your own judgment, you're less likely to get stuck in that analysis paralysis. You're more willing to take action even when things are a little uncertain.
So it's not even that people with self-belief are always right.
No, not at all.
It's more that they're confident in their ability to move forward, even when they don't have all the answers.
Exactly. They trust themselves to figure it out.
Okay, so that's a lot about why self-belief is important.
Mm-hmm.
But now for the million-dollar question, how do you actually build it?
Well, the good news is the source says it's a skill. You can develop it over time.
That's encouraging.
Yeah, it's not like you're just born with it or you're not. You can actively work on it. And it highlights 3 key areas to focus on.
Yeah, let's hear them.
The first one is something we all do all the time. Positive self-talk.
Oh, that inner voice.
Exactly. That constant chatter in your head. The source really emphasizes how powerful that can be. If you're always putting yourself down with thoughts like, I'm not good enough, or I'm going to mess this up, it's like you're setting yourself up for failure.
Yeah, it's like a self-fulfilling prophecy.
Exactly. But the good news is you can change that. You can consciously choose to replace those negative thoughts with more positive ones.
So instead of saying, I can't do this.
Right. You can say, I'll figure this out.
Or instead of, I'm not smart enough.
You can say, I'm still learning.
Yeah, that's so important. It's about changing that inner dialogue.
Absolutely.
There was this great example in the source about public speaking.
Oh, yeah?
Instead of saying, I'm terrible at public speaking.
Which just makes you feel worse.
Right, exactly. Instead, you could say, I'm getting better every time I speak.
And that subtle shift in language, it can make a big difference.
Yeah, it's like you're focusing on progress, not perfection.
Exactly.
Okay, so positive self-talk.
Mm.
That's number 1. What's the next key area?
The second area is about setting small, achievable goals.
Oh, that makes sense. It's about building momentum.
Exactly. The source explains how even accomplishing something small, like finishing a book or making a phone call you've been putting off,
Yeah, or even just going for a short run.
right? Anything that you've been meaning to do, it can actually release dopamine in your brain.
Oh, dopamine, that feel-good chemical.
Exactly. And that gives you a little boost of confidence and makes you more likely to keep going.
So it's like a positive feedback loop. You achieve something small, you feel good, and that motivates you to achieve something bigger.
Exactly. It's all about those small wins that build up over time.
I like that small wins, big results.
Right. And the third key area the source talks about is self-compassion.
Oh, self-compassion.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah, it's so important. And it basically means treating yourself with the same kindness and understanding that you would offer a friend.
Yeah, like if your friend was going through a tough time, you wouldn't beat them up about it.
Exactly. You'd be supportive and encouraging.
And that's what we need to do for ourselves, too.
Right. The source gives some practical tips for how to do that, like writing a kind letter to yourself after a bad day or just saying to yourself, it's okay to fail. I'm human.
It's so easy to be hard on ourselves. It really is. But learning to be more compassionate can make a big difference in how you handle setbacks and challenges.
So we've got positive self-talk, small goals, self-compassion. These are all great tools. But let's be real. Self-doubt still creeps in sometimes.
Oh, definitely. The source acknowledges that it's a normal human experience. It's not about eliminating doubt completely.
Right, because that's probably not realistic.
It's about learning to manage it.
So how do you do that? How do you deal with self-doubt when it shows up?
Well, the source gives a few strategies. One is to simply name the doubt.
Name it.
Yeah, like when you feel that doubt coming on, just say to yourself, okay, this is just fear talking.
That's interesting.
The source says that creating that separation, that distance between you and the doubt, can help you to not get so caught up in it.
So it's like you're observing it rather than being consumed by it.
Exactly. And then you can start to challenge those negative thoughts.
Okay, how do you do that?
Well, the source has some good questions you can ask yourself, like, is this thought actually true? What evidence do I have to support it? What would I say to a friend who is feeling this way?
Those are great questions. It's like you're putting your doubt on trial.
Exactly. And then another powerful tool is visualization.
Visualization.
Yeah, it's about picturing yourself succeeding. Imagining yourself confidently delivering that presentation or acing that job interview.
So it's like mental rehearsal.
Exactly. And the source explains how this can actually help to build your belief that you can achieve those things.
It's like you're programming your mind for success.
Right. And then the source makes this really important point about taking action anyway, even when you're feeling doubtful.
Yeah, I think that's key.
It's about not letting fear paralyze you. It's about understanding that courage isn't the absence of fear. It's about acting despite the fear.
And even small actions can make a big difference.
Absolutely. Every step you take, even if it's tiny, it chips away at that doubt and builds your confidence.
Oh, I like that, chipping away at the doubt.
And there's this quick little exercise that the source mentions that I found really helpful.
Okay, tell me about it.
It's just closing your eyes and imagining the boldest, most confident version of yourself.
Okay.
Like really picturing how they stand, how they talk, how they interact with the world, and then try to embody that, even for a little while.
Huh. I never thought about it like that, but it makes sense.
Yeah, it's like trying on a different version of yourself.
And maybe that helps you to start believing that that version is possible.
Exactly.
So to make all of this even more concrete, the source tells a couple of really cool real-life stories.
Oh, yeah, these stories are inspiring.
Yeah, so the first one is about Steve Jobs.
Oh, Steve Jobs. Now that's a story of resilience.
Right, he got basically kicked out of his own company, Apple.
Which is a huge setback.
He didn't let that stop him. He went on to create NXT, and eventually he came back to Apple and led them to become, one of the most successful companies in the world.
And the source points out that none of that would have happened if he hadn't had that unshakable belief in himself and his vision.
Yeah, he faced a lot of doubters along the way, but he just kept going.
And the second story the source highlights is Elon Musk.
Oh, Elon Musk, another amazing example.
Right, he's had his share of failures and setbacks too. Multiple rocket launches that blew up, Tesla almost going bankrupt.
It's crazy to think about that now, considering how successful they are.
But he never gave up. And the source really emphasizes how his belief in himself and his vision was what kept him going, even when things were really tough.
Yeah, he famously put his last remaining personal fortune on the line for that final Falcon 1 launch.
And it worked.
It did. And now he's leading multiple companies that are pushing the boundaries of technology and innovation.
It's incredible.
And what's really important to remember is that these guys aren't superhuman.
Right. They're not some different
They're
species.
just people who had this incredible self-belief that allowed them to achieve extraordinary things.
And the source argues that this is something we all have the potential to develop.
Okay, so as we wrap up this deep dive into success starts with self-belief, what's the big takeaway? What do we want our listeners to walk away with?
Well, I think the biggest message is that you are capable of so much more than you probably realize.
Yeah, that resonates with me.
The source really drives home this point that the difference between where you are now and where you want to be, it's often not about a lack of opportunity or resources.
It's about that internal belief that you can actually get there.
Exactly. And it's not about being fearless or never doubting yourself. It's about trusting yourself to figure things out, to learn from your mistakes, and to keep moving forward even when it's hard.
So it's a journey. It's a process.
Exactly. And the source challenges us to take one small step today.
What kind of step?
Anything that moves you in the direction of your goals. It could be offering yourself a kind thought, setting a tiny goal, doing something that you've been putting off because of fear.
Okay, I like that. Just one small step.
And then keep repeating that day after day. Consistency is key.
Because ultimately, success starts from within, right?
Exactly. It
Mhm.
starts with believing in yourself.
So powerful. So I want to leave our listeners with this thought. Imagine how even one small act of self-belief today could completely change your future.
It's amazing to think about the possibilities.
It really is. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into self-belief.
My pleasure.
Until next time, keep believing in yourself.
Or keep taking action.
You got this.
We all do.